ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मेऽस्तु। तदात्मनिरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Dear friends, we have come to the end of Kenopanishad. We are reading the last but one mantra, that is the fourth khanda, eighth mantra we have been reading. In the last class we read that mantra. I also explained and we have started the bhashyam also. The mantra is Tasyai tapo damah karmeti pratishtha vedas sarvangani satyam ayatanam. So this is the mantra. So the point here we discussed in the last class was whether Brahma Vidya requires some other sadhanas. Brahma Vidya is a question of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. It is a question of knowing. It is a question of knowing that you are Brahman. It is a question of driving away the ignorance. Ignorance means anatmani atma bhavaha, thinking that dehendriya, this is the atma, this is the self. So that is what is ignorance. So driving away that ignorance. So that is the main point there. So for that driving away of ignorance, karma is not of use. Karma is of use only for chitta shuddhi. Nishkama karma, when it is done, it is for chitta shuddhi. Karma by itself, when you are doing karma for your own sake with phalabhisanthi, it is with an idea that you are going to get something out of that karma. You are going to get some benefit, abhyudaya, you are going to get some heaven. So this is the purpose of karma. That is, when you are feeling incomplete, in order to get some completeness, you are doing some karma. You are aware that you are apurna, and then you want to get some amount of purnatvam by acquiring something, isn't it? So that is the purpose of karma. When you do nishkama karma, you are making yourself an instrument of God. You are serving that God's purpose. You are acting as an instrument of God, and then you are contributing your vyashti to the samashti. So that is what is nishkama karma, and in that nishkama karma there is chitta shuddhi. All our vasanas, etc., they get purified. Nishkama karma, in addition to nishkama karma, we are supposed to do yoga. We are supposed to do bhakti. All these things are there as sadhanas. But all these sadhanas, they only contribute to the cleaning of the mind, but not for Brahma Vidya as such. Brahma Vidya as such, you have to put the torchlight and see that it is not the snake but rope. So it is like switching on the torchlight. So Brahma Vidya is a question of enquiry. It is a question of driving away darkness. So unless you drive away darkness, you will not find that it is a rope, and till that time you will be feeling it is a snake. So this wrong perception can only go by driving away the snake, the mistaken snake. So from that point of view, that is the basic question at the end Shankaracharya was discussing. After that, Upanishad is telling these things, and in what context we have to understand, that also Sri Shankaracharya explained in the last class. So tasyai means for that Brahma Vidya, tapaha, damaha, karma, all these things are the feet. This is like the pedestal. This is like the pedestal on which the whole structure called Brahma Vidya stands. The whole Brahma Vidya is structured. If a person is not a disciplined person, this Brahma Vidya is something which cannot dawn on him. A person who is full of ragadvesha, a person who is full of untruth, satyam ayatanam, it says satyam is the abode. Satyam, the truthfulness, is the abode. Unless a person is truthful, if a person is very, very deceitful in nature, how can this Brahma Vidya dawn on him? Brahma Vidya means it is not knowing something at the intellectual level, but transforming oneself. There is an internal transformation. You lose your identity. You get rid of your, bag and baggage, and then you become Brahman yourself. So when you are supposed to become Brahman, how can you become Brahman when you are having a baggage of this vasanas? So this Satyam, Tapas, Dhamma, Karma means Nishkama Karma, these are the feet. And then Satyam is the Ayatanam, because Satyam is the greater means. But of course, that we are going to see. So we have come, in the last class we read this line, Drushtahi Amrudita Kalmasha Kashayasya, Amrudita Kalmashasya, Uktepi Brahmani, Apratipattihi Viparita Pratipattisya Yatha Indra Virochana Prabhutinam. So we also heard the story of that Indra and Virochana, the story from Chandogya Upanishad, where these people went and then they did a lot of tapas, and Virochana was quite happy to understand in the way he wanted to understand. So he understood that in this Dehendriya Sanghata, that itself was the Atma, and he was very happy to decorate himself, and he was very happy to indulge in sensual pleasures. So that is what he wanted, because the mind knows what it sees, or rather the mind sees what it knows. So he only took whatever was pleasant, whatever was convenient to him from what Prajapati told. Whereas Indra, being a more inquisitive type of man, more sincere type of man, he underwent that whole process of the brahmacharya, and then he realized Brahman. So that is what we see in that Indra Virochana story from the Chandogya Upanishad. So the next line let us read. Tasmad ihava atiteshu va bahushu janmantareshu tapa adibhihi kruta sattva ज्ञानं समुत्पद्यते यथा श्रुतं यस्य देवे पराभक्तिः यथा देवे तथा गुरौ तस्यैते कथिता ह्यर्थाः प्रकाशन्ते महात्मनः इति मंत्रवर्णात्. So here again Shankaracharya is reminding us that this baggage of karma is not something which is done only in this birth. This, and in so many previous hundreds and hundreds of previous births we have accumulated so much of karma. So all that baggage has to disappear. What is called sanchita karma. Sanchi literally means a bag, isn't it? In Telugu we use the word sanchi. Sanchita, that is a bag. So that baggage, that whole baggage of karma has to go. Ihava atiteshu va bahushu janmantareshu. And then you say in all these so many births, over a period of time, in so many births, a lot of karma has accumulated, and in all these births also you should have done some little bit of tapa, some little bit of dhamma, karma, so you should have been truthful. All these things were required in these previous births also. It is not as though you can do, achieve all this in one birth. So you should have done all that earlier. So with all that, Ihava, of course, here also you can do. Here also you can do, because if I say that, or if the Upanishad says that you should have done all this janma, tapas and all these things over so many births, and unless it is so, you will not attain Brahma Jnana. You are totally precluding that fellow. You are disqualifying him right at the outset. So that is not the objective. Ihava, that is why the word ihava, va means or. Iha means in this janma, or atiteshu va bahushu janmantareshu, or in the past several births. In the past several births. Atiteshu means atita, something which is gone by. All these gone by, the past janmas. Tapa adhibihi kruta sattva shuddhehe. So this sattva shuddhi has been achieved over a period of time, either in this janma or in several previous janmas. If it is totally done in previous janmas, this dawning of Brahma Jnana will be faster here. So if nothing was done in the earlier janmas, right now if you are doing something, okay, even in this janma you can achieve this Brahma Jnana, but there will be some delay, because you have to clean your mind. That process of cleaning of the mind, that vasana kshaya, get rid of all these vasanas, it takes some time. So that is why it is said, sattva shuddhehe jnanam samutpadyate. This jnanam arises in his mind. Samutpadyate, utpadyate, it arises in his mind. Yatha shrutam, just as it is said. Yatha shrutam means in another shruti. Shrutam means it is mentioned in a shruti. Smritehe means if it is mentioned in a smriti. So Shruti, he is now quoting a line from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. This is the last mantra of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. So which tells almost, it tells about the Phalashruti of that particular Upanishad. So the mantra is like that: Yasya Deve Para Bhaktihi. For one whom there is supreme devotion in God, one who has got supreme devotion in God. Is there anything wrong in that? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, one who has supreme devotion to God, then Yatha Deve Tatha Gurau. Just as he has got devotion in God, he should have devotion or faith in the teacher also. You should have devotion to the God and similar devotion to the Guru also. Then tasya yete kathita hyarthaha. All these things which have been instructed. Tasya means for that gentleman, for that person who is having devotion to God and equal devotion to the teacher. For such person, yete kathita hyarthaha. All these things, all these teachings which have been told, all these teachings which have been communicated, prakashante mahatmanaha. So this Mahatma is an important word. We know the word Mahatma. What is Mahatma? One who is not petty in nature is a Mahatma, isn't it? So in the context of Vedanta, what is a Mahatma? One who is not identifying himself with the Dehatma. So Mahatma versus Dehatma, let you remember like that. So one who is not having that Dehatma Bhava is a Mahatma. One who has transcended that Dehatma Bhava, and one who has expanded his self is no longer limited to the body-mind complex. His self is no longer limited to the so-called Sukshma Sharira, his intellectual achievements and all that. In the last class we were talking about that Sukshma Sharira. So not only it is the physical body, Sthula Sharira which matters, it is also the Sukshma Sharira. A lot of ego is built around the Sukshma Sharira also, because I have great pride that I know, so I know so many things. I have read this Vedanta, I have read this, I have read that, I have achieved this, I am holding a great post, something like that. All these things, they belong to the Sukshma Sharira, isn't it? That pride. So that Sukshma Sharira has to also disappear. So that is why when that disappears, then he becomes a Mahatma. All this this petty Atma disappears and the greater Atma comes. In English there are two words, magnanimous, magnus and animus. Magna, animus means great soul. For example, I think for this word Mahatma, perhaps that is the proper equivalent. Magnanimous, of course, we use in a slightly different sense, but the original word magnanimous is great soul. Opposite to that is pusillanimous. Magnanimous, the opposite word is called pusillanimous. Of course, we need not go into English. That is petty soul, petty-mindedness. So here, in the context of Vedanta, petty-mindedness is identification with the body-mind complex. Then Mahatma means getting over that feeling. He is in an expanded self. He has become Brahman himself. So for that man, arthaha prakashante. Artha, teacher may say something, but then it has to dawn on that man's mind, isn't it? So this dawning of that knowledge happens when you are gradually losing that pettiness, gradually losing your identity, gradually losing your grip over that all that ego determining factors. There are so many ego determining factors, aren't they? So we have to slowly loosen our grip on all those things and then shake them away, shake them off. Punya pape vidhuya, that word vidhuya also, I think in the last mantra, vidhuya. Earlier we got that word vidhuya, having shaken off all those things. So that word we have seen. So all these meanings, they themselves dawn in such a pure mind. So all this wisdom can only dawn in a pure mind of a person who has come out of this body-mind complex. So that is the meaning of Mahatma. Iti mantravarnat. There is another word, another line he quotes. Jnanam utpadyate pumsam kshayat papasya karmanaha iti smrutescha. So for people, pumsam, puman means man, but of course pumsam means we should not take men only, women also. Pumsam means for all persons, human beings, we should take in that way. Jnanam utpadyate. Jnanam arises or jnana dawns on them when kshayat papasya karmanaha. Papasya karmanaha kshayat. When all this papa karma is eliminated. So what here, of course, we have to understand papa karma's elimination, the sanchita karma, when will it get eliminated? Yeah, both papam and punya, when will it get eliminated? When you become a jnani. When you become a jnani, the sanchita karma also gets eliminated. So this then how to understand this line? Jnanam dawns on a person when say papa karma gets eliminated. But papa karma gets eliminated only when jnana dawns on them, on a person. So here we have to understand it as Kshayat papasya karmanaha means when you stop doing all the papa karmas in this janma, when one stops doing all types of papa karma, then it is the sign that this man has achieved this purity of mind. Then only he is qualified for the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, he is qualified only at that time. So when one has stopped all the evil deeds, so that is how we have to understand. Jnanam utpadyate pumsam kshayat papasya karmanaha means you can't make them interdependent. Jnanam arises say in a person whose baggage has been removed due to dawning of knowledge. So that sort of understanding we should not have. Kshayat papasya karmanaha means in this life you should have achieved enough purity of mind and you should be in such a stage where you have stopped doing all evil deeds. So at that time jnanam utpadyate. Jnanam utpadyate due to again Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. It doesn't automatically arise. This sort of Kshayat papasya karmana is only a prerequisite. So it is a prerequisite. Thereafter you have to do your MS or PhD and then get it. Mere BS, say bachelor's degree is not enough. Bachelor's degree is a prerequisite. So it is like that. Then iti shabdaha upalakshanatva pradarshanaarthaha ityevamadyanyadapi ज्ञानोत्पत्तेः उपकारकम् अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् इत्यादि उपदर्शितं भवति. So he is quoting a line from Gita. So iti shabdah upalakshanatva pradarshanaartha. Where is this iti? Iti is in this mantra. Tasyai tapo damaha karma iti. Isn't it? So that iti means and also. Iti here we should take it to mean some etc. Something like and also. Some more things are there. Upalakshanam we know. Upalakshanam means it is suggestive or indicative of some more things which have to be taken into account. Suppose you say vak. Vak means it is only a karmendriya. When you mention vak, vachanabhyuditam, just as an example, it cannot be told by vak. That is, vak means one karmendriya. When there is a mention of one karmendriya, all other karmendriyas also have to be taken. So that is what is called upalakshana. So this word vak is an upalakshanam for other karmendriyas. Then the word shrotram is an upalakshanam for other jnanendriyas. So like that, iti shabdaha upalakshanartham. So iti, say tapa, dama, etc. Karma have been mentioned. Some more are there. So that is what Shankaracharya is saying. Upalakshana pradarshanaartha. It is suggestive of some more things which have to be included for the purpose of chitta shuddhi. Then ityevamadyanyadapi jnanotpattehi upakarakam. So these are all the upakarakas. They are not part and parcel of jnana, but these are all the preliminary stages. Upakaraka, arad upakaraka, sakshat upakaraka, we know these two words. So these are all upakarakams. What are they? Amanitvam, adambhitvam. This is from Gita. Gita, this 13th chapter, we have not done it. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, there is a shloka there. Amanitvam, mani means? Yeah, a lot of pride. A person who has got a lot of pride in himself. So that is what is called, that is manitvam. A lot of, say, feeling of that superiority. Then, amanitvam means humility. The opposite of that pride is humility. Manitvam is pride. Amanitvam is humility. Adambhitvam, not being a dambhi. What is a dambhitvam? Dambha, there again Shankaracharya uses a good phrase. The dambha dharmadhvajitvam, he says. Dharmadhvajitvam. Dharmadhvaji means, suppose I think that I am a highly righteous person. So I do all my pujas perfectly. So whoever comes to my house, I keep saying, okay, I do Sandhyavandan, I do Devatarchan, I do this, I do that, I give these donations to so many people. So I keep on proclaiming my whatever good things I am doing. I do this, I do this. So that is dambhitvam, dharmadhvajitvam. So dharmadhvajitvam means dhvaja, dhvaja means a flag. So you have a flag, and then holding a flag and telling everybody, I have done this, I have done this. So that is what is called dharmadhvajitvam. So that is what Shankaracharya, that is how he defines the word dambha. Having that dambha is dambhitvam. Adambhitvam is not having that sort of dambhitvam. So adambhitvam is sort of unpretentious nature, unpretentiousness. So one is amanitvam, not having pride, that is humility. Then number two is adambhitvam, not boasting, not tom-tomming your good works, not blowing your own trumpet, being humble, also related to humility only, unpretentious nature. So these are certain virtues which Shankaracharya, which the Gita is going to say in the 13th chapter. So ityadi upadarsitam bhavati. All these things, of course, they are also suggested by the word iti. Then pratishtha padau. Padaviva asyaha teshu hi satsu pratitishthati brahmavidya pravartate. Fine. So pratishtha means padau means feet. So pratishtha, this whatever this tapa, dhamma, karma, etc., they are the pratishtha. They are like the feet. So that is the whole structure. The whole structure has to stand on some solid feet only. So if you have not done a tapa, you have not done the damaha, and then if you have not done nishkama karma, and then if your mind is still vacillating, then you are on a shaky ground. So that shaky ground should not be there, and the ground should be strong. So pratishtha padau iva asyaha. Asyaha means asyaha brahmavidyayaha. For this brahmavidya, it is all these things, they are like the feet. But tapa, dhamma, etc., they are all like the feet. Then teshu hi satsu, it is only when they are there. It is only when they are present. Teshu hi satsu means it is only when they are present. Pratitishthati brahmavidya pravartate. This brahmavidya stands firm. Pratitishthati. Shatamanam bhavati, Shatayus pratitishthati, that Ashirvada mantra, you listen to it frequently, isn't it? Pratitishthati, so like that, pratitishthati means you stay in a very, very firm manner. That is what is pratitishthati. So this Brahmavidya is firmly settled. That means the proper understanding of this Brahman, your realization of this Brahman will be proper. Your understanding of the words like Tattvamasi and Aham Brahmasmi will be proper. They will not be dragged again by your vasanas. Suppose you have got some understanding of Brahma Vidya, understanding of Aham Brahmasmi, and the very next moment you have a quarrel with your neighbor. So that quarrel with your neighbor is dragging away your Brahma Vidya. So it is like that. So what is this? Pratitishthati Brahma Vidya pravartate. So this Brahma Vidya will stand firm only on these feet. Then padhyamiva purushaha, just as a person stands on only when the feet are very firm. So he can't be having some dribbling feet. Then vedaha chatvaraha sarvani cha angani shikshadini shat karma jnana prakashakatvad vedanam your book says prakashatvat. I think it should be prakashakatvat, because these are all prakashakas. Prakashaka means that which illumines, that which enlightens, that which illustrates. So that is prakashakam. Prakasha is different, prakashaka is different. Prakasha means light. Prakashaka means enlightens, and not enlightens, illumines, let us say. So prakashakatvad vedanam Tad rakshanarthatvad anganam.
Tad rakshanarthatvad.
Rakshanarthatvad anganam.
Rakshanarthatvad.
What does your book say?
Tad rakshanarthatvad anganam.
Same. Anganam pratishtatvam.
Pratishtatvam.
Okay. So, how are Vedas and Vedangas the pratishtha? So, he is explaining. Okay, you have said about tapas, damas, etc., damaha, etc. as pratishtha. This Veda and Sarvangani also as pratishtha. That is one way of interpreting this particular line from the Upanishad. So, he says, Vedaha chatvaraha, these 4 Vedas, then Vedangani shat. What are they? Sarvani cha angani, or these angas. I think in one of the last classes I described Shiksha, Vyakaranam, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha and Kalpam. All these 6 are the 6 Veda angani. These are the limbs of the Vedas. These are highly essential for a proper understanding of Veda. Without that, we will be knowing only a fraction of Veda. When of course we are now reading Upanishad, we are now in say this chapter called Brahma Vidya. But if you go to the preliminary chapters, unless you know these Vedangas, you will not be knowing anything. Vedangas are very, very important for just performing any yajna, any ritual. But of course, we are doing something without understanding anything, something is going on. But then, if you want to know the real meaning of the Veda, we have to know all these things. Then, Sarvani Changani Shikshadini Shat. Shikshadini Shat means this 6. Shat means 6. This 6, Shiksha, Adini, Shiksha, etc. Then Karma, Jnana, Prakashakatvat, Vedanam. This Karma, how are the Vedas, how can Vedas be called the feet? Because they are the Karma, Jnana, Prakashakaha. That is, they tell about Karma, they tell about Jnana. Karma Prakashakatvat, Jnana Prakashakatvacha. They tell about the karma, how a karma has to be performed, and also this jnana, what is the process for this jnana, that is told. So that is why it is something like the basic structure, that is the foundation for this Brahma Vidya. Then tad rakshanarthatvad anganam. And angas, these limbs, what do? They protect the Veda. They actually protect the Veda, they actually stabilize the Veda. So because of that, for angas also, you are telling this pratishtatvam. Pratishtatvam means the status of being a pratishtha, the status of being a pedestal. That is what is pratishtatvam. Pratishtha, if you call it pedestal, what is pratishtatvam? The status of being that. So that is, Vedas are getting their status as pratishtha because they illustrate this karma and jnanam. And Vedangas, they get their status as pratishtha because they are supporting the Vedas themselves. Is it clear? So next line. Athava pratishtha shabdasya padarupa kalpanarthatvat vedastu itarani sarvangani shira adini. So athava, or else. So that line can be interpreted in a slightly different way. Pratishtha shabdasya padarupa kalpanarthatvat. So you have told that tapas, dhamma, karma, etc. are the pedestal. Vedastu itarani sarvangani shira adini. So Vedas, you compare them with head. Why with feet? So another way of interpreting is Vedastu itarani. Vedas vitarani. Vedaha tu itarani sarvangani shira adini. So you can take this Veda and sarvangas as shira adini. So shira means head. You take, instead of taking the Vedas as pedestal or feet, you take it as head for this whole thing. And then you take the Vedangas, the limbs, as various limbs like hands, feet, hands, shoulders, and belly and torso, the whole torso. So something like that. Asmin pakshe shikshadinam vedagrahanenaiva grahanam krutam pratyetavyam. So in this paksha also, shikshadinam vedagrahanenaiva grahanam. So shiksha, where all these Vedangas, they have to be taken along with the Vedas. Instead of taking them separately, you take them along with the Vedas. You consider Vedas as the head. You consider all the shiksha, etc., all the shoulders, hands, feet, etc. So you take like that. Then anginihi gruhite,
Anginihi gruhite.
angani gruhitanyeva bhavanti,
Angani gruhitanyeva bhavanti.
tad ayattatvat anganam.
Tad ayattatvat
Anganam. Okay, angini gruhite. When you say Veda and Vedanga, which is the Anga and which is the Angi? Anga means limb. Limb means Shiksha, Vyakaranam, Chandas, etc. They are the Vedangani. So Angi, what is the Angi? Veda is the Angi. Angi means one who has limbs is the Angi. Angani are limbs, isn't it? So Veda is the Angi and Vedangani are the limbs. So Angini Gruhite, that is, if you take Angi, you are also including the Angas, isn't it? When I say so and so person, I am also referring to his hands, feet, belly and all these limbs, isn't it? So like that. Anginihi Gruhite, Angani Gruhitanyeva bhavanti. So you have as good as taken this Angas also. Tadayat Tatvad Anganam. All these Angas, they are also dependent on the same thing. Of course, there is nothing much in this line. Then Satyam. We are coming to this next word, Satyam. Satyam Ayatanam.
Satyam ayatanam.
Yatra Tishtati Upanishad Tad Ayatanam.
Yatra tishtati Upanishad tad ayatanam.
Okay. Satyam Ayatanam. We have come to this word Satyam, last word of that mantra. Satyam Ayatanam. What is that Satyam? Satyam here does not mean Satyam Jnanam Anantam. We are not referring to that supreme level of, say, Brahman. We are only referring at the normal level, the say, worldly level or Vyavaharika level, where merely to mean truthfulness. So Satyam Ayatanam. Ayatanam is, that is the abode. Then Yatra Tishtati Upanishad Tad Ayatanam. So where this whole teaching, Upanishad here means the teaching, where this whole teaching stands, the whole structure is, the whole teaching is structured on truth only. Tad Ayatanam. Ayatanam is, that is the dwelling place. Unless a person is truthful, this Brahma Vidya cannot enter him. So that is it. Unless a person is very truthful, this Brahma Vidya cannot enter his brain. Then Satyamiti
Satyamiti.
Amayita
Amayita.
Akautiliyam Vangmanah Kayanam.
Akautilyam vangmanah kayanam.
So he is also explaining Satyam. Satyamiti Amayita. Mayita, we know this word Maya. Maya, of course, we are not referring to Prakriti Maya. In a very colloquial sense, in an ordinary sense. Mayavi, we say Mayavi. Very deceitful person. Mayikaha. Mayikaha is a deceitful person. Amayikaha, a straightforward Ruju, a straightforward honest person. He is Amayikaha. So Amayita is that nature, that straightforwardness. Innocence, let us say. Innocence is again a very great requisite. In fact, one English poet says, the ceremony of innocence is drowned. So that innocence in this present age, he is talking about the present age. He talking about the people where that innocence of the previous generations, of the previous say centuries, that innocence is lost. So that is what he says. So like that Amayita is something like innocence. Then Akautiliyam. Akautiliyam is Kutilatvam, crookedness. Akautiliyam is not being crooked, straightforward, Ruju. So Akautiliyam, Vang Manah Kayanam, Trikarana Shuddhi. That is what we say. Vak is that is speech. Manaha, mind, what you think. Then Kaya means body. What you do, what you think, what you speak. All these three things should be harmonious. They should say combine. Combine in the sense they should be together. So Manasyanyat Manasyekam Vachasyekam Karmanyekam Mahatmanam, isn't it? So for great people, for all these Mahatmas we are talking about, Manasi Ekam. Manas, whatever you think in the mind, you speak. Whatever you speak, you act. So there is no discord in those three. So like that, Vang Manah Kayanam Akautiliyam. This absence of crookedness, that is Akautiliyam. Then Teshuhi Ashrayati Vidya
Ashrayati Vidya.
Ye Amaya Vinaha Sadhavaha
ये अमायिविनः
अमायाविनः साधवः
अमायाविनः साधवः
न असुरप्रकृतिषु मायाविषु
न असुरप्रकृतिषु मायाविषु
न येषु जिह्ममनृतं न माया च
न येषु
जिह्ममनृतं न माया च
जिह्वमनृतं न माया च
प्रश्नोपनिषत् इति श्रुतेः.
इति श्रुतेः.
So he is quoting a line from Prashnopanishad also in the very beginning of Prashnopanishad. Na yeshu jihvam anrutam na maya cha. In those, not in those who have this anrutam. Anrutam means untruthfulness. Jihmam is again crookedness. Anrutam na maya cha. In those whom this maya, this deceitful nature is not there. So there again in the same sense it is used, in the same context rather. So, teshu hi ashrayati vidya. This vidya takes shelter only in those. Those means who? Ye amayavinaha sadhavaha. Those who are amayavinaha. Those who are not mayavis. Those who are not deceitful in nature. Then sadhavaha. Sadhavaha is the plural. Sadhu means those who are, sadhu, we know the word sadhu. What can we say this word sadhu? Sadhu means not exactly a gentleman. One who has achieved that level of purity by doing all these tapas and dhamma and all these things. So you can call him sadhu. So sadhavaha na asura prakrutishu mayavishu, and not in those asura prakrutishu. Asura prakriti, we know the word asura. Those who revel in sensual pleasures. Asura prakrutishu mayavishu. Those who indulge in sensual pleasures and those who are deceitful in nature. So in those people, this Brahmavidya, this sort of self-realization cannot dawn in them. Then tasmat satyam ayatanamiti kalpyate. So hence kalpyate, kalpana means a visualization. You are visualizing a whole structure, a sort of statue-like thing. Then Satyam is the whole abode where the whole structure stands. Pedestal is Tapa, Dhamma, etc. are the pedestal. Satyam is the abode in which the whole structure stands. So Tasmat, therefore, Satyam Ayatanamiti Kalpyate. Hence, it is visualized that Satyam is the abode. Then Tapa Adishu Eva Pratishthātvena Praptasya Satyasya Punaha Ayatanatvena Grahanam Ayatanatvena Grahanam Ayatanatvam Ayatanatvena Grahanam Sadhanatishayatva Jñāpanārtham. So Tapadishu eva Pratishthātvena Praptasya. For this structure where this tapa etc. are already taken as the pratishtha or the feet or the pedestal, for this structure for which this tapa etc. have already been considered as the pedestal, then you are again taking this satyam as the ayatanam. Ayatanam is the whole abode. Then satyasya punaha ayatanatvena grahanam. Why is it done? So he is explaining sadhanatishayatva jñāpanārtham. This is a atishayam sadhanam. Which one? Satyam. Satyam is atishayam sadhanam. That is, it is a means of higher order. Atishaya means higher, isn't it? Atishaya sadhanatvam. That is, sadhanatishayatvam is this atishayam sadhanam. So the status of being a superior means is that sadhanatishayatvam. So in order to say that this is a superior means, the whole sentence means, in order to show that this is a superior means, in order to show that satyam or truthfulness is a superior means, superior to what? Superior to this tapa, dhamma and all these things. You may do tapas, but still you may not be truthful. You may do some dhamma and all that, but still you may not be truthful. So this truthfulness outweighs all other things. He is going to say that superior, this truthfulness is superior to all other things. So then he also quotes a shloka from Mahabharata. Ashwamedha sahasram cha satyam cha tulayad dhrutam Ashwamedha sahasracha satyamekam vishishyate iti smrutehe. It's not from Mahabharata, it is said to be from Vishnu Smruti. So what is this shloka? Ashwamedha sahasram cha. So you have taken a balance. Tula means a balance. You have taken a balance in your hand and then you have put the whole punyam. Punyam is all the merit which you acquire when you have done some 1000 Ashwamedha Yajnas. So 1000 Ashwamedha Yajnas you have done, and then with a great punyam, a huge mass of punyam, you have put on one scale of that balance. And then in another balance, in another, say, not balance, in another scale of that balance, you have put, what is that, Satyam. So on one plate you have put all this punyam, in another plate you have put that Satyam, and then this Satyam goes down, it outweighs. So this goes up. So which means Satyam is heavier than the whole punyam of this Ashwamedha yagas. So that is what this sloka says. Ashwamedha Sahasram cha Satyam cha. So Satyam on one side and Ashwamedha Sahasram on another side, when you hold them in balance, then Ashwamedha Sahasra cha Satyam Vishishyate. Satyam, this truthfulness, it outweighs, it excels this other say thing. It is Smrtehe. So that is it. Then we will come to the last say mantra. I think we can complete this mantra maybe in this class, and maybe in the next class we will be doing some revision. No, sorry, that summing up of this Kena Upanishad.
Excuse me, sir. Second line meaning, Ashwamedha Sahasrartha Satyamekam Vishishyate.
Vishishyate. Vishishyate means excels. Vishesha is something, Visheshana, Vishesha, that is something which qualifies. Here Vishishyate means excels, not something qualifying. Vishishyate, it excels. So Satyam Ekam Vishishyate. This Satyam alone excels all this thing. The whole Ashwamedha Sahasram, this Satyam excels and outweighs it. So that is it. Next mantra. Yo va etam evam veda
Yo va etam evam veda
apahatya papmanam anante svarge loke jyeye
Anante Swarge Loke Jyeye
Pratitishthati. Okay. Yova etam evam veda apahatya papmanam anante swarge loke jyeye pratitishthati. So that is it. So Yova, we know this word Yova, the one who, Yaha, Va is why, the one who, Va is indeed, really, the one who indeed really knows. So that is it. The Yova etam evam veda, knows this in this manner. Evam means in this, evam means in this manner. Veda means knows. Etam, this one, knows this in this manner. In this manner means in the way in which it has been told in this Upanishad. The one who knows this in this manner. So that is what it means. Yova etam evam veda apahatya papmanam. Papmanam apahatya. Papmanam means all these papam, all this whole papam. When we say papam, we have to include punyam also. All karma, all this punya, papa, the whole karma, the whole baggage of karma, apahatya, having got rid of. Apahatya, having got rid of the whole baggage of all these things. Then, anante swarge loke. What happens to him? He goes to that infinite ananta, he is infinite. Swarge loke, swarga means heaven. Swarge loke, loka is again a world. Jyeye, jyeya means jayan. Jayan means great, superior. Supreme, Jyeye is supreme, pratitishthati. So Shankaracharya has to explain, because this Upanishad is using a word which does not fit in the whole context, Swarga. So after all, when you get Brahmajnana, you are not going to Swarga. Swarga is something which is a very, very limited objective. So here, this Swarga, the word Swarga is used in a figurative sense. And that is why so many adjectives are mentioned there. Upanishad also is not making a mistake. Upanishad is only trying to test our knowledge by saying this Swarge, Loke, etc., etc. But it is also giving some hints that it is not your normal Swarga where there is a Devendra and then where there is Rambha, Urvasi, etc. But you are going to stay in your own self, which is superior to that Swargaloka. So, apahatya papmanam. So, all this apahatya papmanam, when does it happen? It does not happen when you go to normal Swarga. When you go to Swarga, because of some Punya Phala, you go to Swarga, and after the visa is over, you come back. And then you have to jolly well have the experience of another Punyam or Papam, whatever it is. There are so many Punyam and Papams. So basing on that, you go, basing on one, you go to some, some Swarga, and once the visa is over, you come back. Then what happens? Then again there is some more pending papam, isn't it? So here we are talking about apahatya papmanam. The ones who knows, he totally discards the whole papam punyam baggage. That can happen only when there is realization, atma jnana. So that these are the hints which say that it is not swarga. The word swarga is used in a figurative sense. Etam evam veda apahatya papmanam anante. Ananta means that infinite. When you use the word infinite, it cannot be Swarga. Swarga is finite. So infinite is not Swarga. Then Swarge Loke. Then again it is not a Loka as such. It is a state. It is a state of experience. And that state of experience is your own Brahma awareness. That awareness is that state of experience. Jya. So that is why that word Jya also is used. Jya, Shankaracharya is saying, Jyayasi. Sarva Mahattare Swatmani Mukhye, he says, that is the greatest of all. What is that greatest of all? It is your own Atma, your own self, in your own self, knowing that your own self is nothing but the Supreme Self. So in that particular state, he gets pratitishthati, he gets firmly established in that, say state. So that is what is pratitishthati, pratitishthati. So we know that this pratitishthati, this repetition is to indicate that this whole text has ended. Pratitishthati, pratitishthati. So this indicates the end of that text. So that is it. Let us read the Bhashyam. Yo vai etam brahmavidyam
Yo vai etam brahmavidyam
keneshitam ityadina yathoktam
keneshitam ityadina yathoktam
ityadina
ityadina
yathoktam eva mahabhagam
यथोक्ताम् एव महाभागाम्
ब्रह्मः देवेभ्यः इत्यादिना स्तुताम् सर्वविद्या प्रतिष्ठाम् वेद अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते इत्युक्तमपि ब्रह्मविद्याफलम् अन्ते निगमयति. Okay. So, yo vai etam brahmavidyam. Yo va etam evam veda. Etam means this one. What is this one? This brahmavidya. Yo vai, the one who indeed this brahmavidyam. Or what is that brahmavidya? Keneshitam ityadina yathoktam. So, starting with the words keneshitam patati preshitam manaha etc. ityadina. Yathoktam, as has been told, in this evam means in this manner. Then Mahabhagam, he uses a strange word Mahabhaga. Maybe for us it is strange, it might not have been strange at Shankaracharya's time. We use the words Mahashaya, Mahabhaga, I am Mahashaya, I am Mahabhagaha. This is Mahabhaga, for example, in Ramayana also. Janaka talks about his daughter when he gives his daughter in marriage to Rama. Iyam Sita Mamasuta Sahadharmacharitava. So he describes Sita. Iyam Sita Mamasuta Sahadharmacharitava. Pratichya Chainam Bhadram Che Panim Grunhishva Panina. Pativrata Mahabhaga Chayeva Anugata Sada etc. He says Pativrata Mahabhaga Chayeva Anugata Sada. So she is the Pativrata, she is a Mahabhaga. He uses the word. That word Mahabhaga is used here. So probably we have to take the meaning of Bhagavan, because this Mahabhaga is connected to that Bhaga Shabda in Bhagavan. How was that Bhagavan described? Such a Bhagavan, Jnana Aishwarya Balashakti Sampannaha in Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam, the very first line of that Narayanam Namaskritya. After that, we read that very first line of Bhashyam. Such a Bhagavan, Jnana Aishwarya Balashakti Sampannaha etc. So Bhagavan, how was it defined? There it was defined as Utpattim cha Vinasham cha Jivanam Agatim Gatim, isn't it? Utpattim cha Vinasham cha. This emergence of the whole universe and then resolution of the whole universe. Utpattim cha Vinasham cha Jivanam Agatim Gatim. That is the so-called pravesha of this Jiva. Agati and Gati. So he is not talking about Srushti. In the case of Jagat, we call it Srushti, isn't it? We say that is Srushti. In the case of Jiva, it is not Srushti, it is something, it is called Pravesha. Because Chaitanyam is something which cannot be created, isn't it? It is called Agatim Gatim. So coming and going. So Bhutanam, sorry, not Jivanam. Bhutanam Agatim Gatim. Utpattim cha Vinasham cha Bhutanam Agatim Gatim. Vetti Vidyam Avidyam cha. Savachyo Bhagavaniti. The one who knows Avidya, the one who knows Vidya. Avidya is Anatmani Atmabhava, identifying Anatma as Atma. Then Vidya is proper realization. The one who knows he is the Bhagavan. So Bhaga Shabda, the word Bhaga means that whole thing, the whole thing, that is one who has that awareness of this whole, say this so-called creation and resolution, creation, sustenance and resolution, the so-called, say this Anupravesha, this Brahman, say entering into this Jiva and then going out and all that. This Brahman means Chaitanya coming into Jiva, reflection, let us say. Getting reflected in this Antahkarana. So, and then going away. So, and these things, and also Vidya and Avidya. So, this knowledge, the whole knowledge is called Bhaga. And then the one who has that knowledge is Bhagavan. So, Mahabhagam. So, here it means this Mahabhaga, this Brahma Vidya is something which elevates the sadhaka to the level of Brahma, isn't it? Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati, we know that phrase very much. It has become, we are not sure whether we are Brahmavids, but then we know that phrase. Anyway, this Brahma Vidya is something which is going to elevate you to that level of Brahman. So that is why Mahabhaga. So a very heavy word has been used by Shankaracharya here. Yathoktam evam Mahabhagam. A very heavy word saying that it is something which is elevating you to that level of Brahman. Mahabhagam. What is that? Brahmaha deve bhyo vijigye ityadina stutam. So he is also referring to that Akhyayika. What is that Akhyayika? Where do you get this mantra? Brahmaha deve bhyo vijigye tasya vijaye deva amahiyanta, something like that. What is that? That is where the devas and asuras, the gods and demons, they had a spardha, and then the gods, they vanquished these asuras, but then the gods thought the victory was theirs own. So that was the mantra we saw in the third khanda of Kena Upanishad, that Akhyayika we saw in the third khanda. So ityadina stutam. Stutam means it has been extolled, it has been praised. Stuti means extolling, praise. Stutam sarva vidya pratishtham. This is another important word. This Brahma Vidya is the pratishtha for all other vidyas. This is the substratum. Only when you know this is this basic vidya. They are not basic, this is the highest vidya. Sarva vidya pratishtha. This is the pratishtha, this is the vidya on which all other things are based. Then Veda. Then he is also referring to an earlier word. Amrutatvam hi vindate. Brahma Vidyaya Vindate Pratibodha Viditam Matam Amrutatvam Hi Vindate. So there we also heard some little bit of Phalashruti there. So a person who knows like this, Pratibodha Viditam Matam, one who understands like this, he attains Amrutatva. Though it has been told, the Upanishad is again Brahma Vidya, it is concluding this Brahma Vidya Phalam. So that is what he is going to say. Amrutatvam Hi Vindate iti Uktamapi, though it has been told like that, Brahma Vidya Phalam Ante Nigamayati. Nigamayati means he is concluding. Nigamanam. Nigamanam is conclusion. Brahma Vidya Phalam Ante. Ante means in the end. Nigamayati. He is concluding. In what manner? Apahatya Papma. Okay, let us read. Apahatya Papmanam.
Apahatya Papmanam.
Avidya Kama Karma Lakshanam.
Avidya Kama Karma Lakshanam.
Samsara Bijam.
Samsara Bijam.
Vidhuya.
Vidhuya.
Anante Aparyante.
Anante Aparyante.
What does your book say? Anante for Aparyante. Yeah, okay. Swarge Loke.
Swarge Loke.
Swarge Loke Sukhatmake Brahmani Tietat.
Swarge Loke Sukhatmake Brahmani Tietat.
Okay. Apahatya Papmanam. So he has, say, rejected, or he got rid of This apahatya is actually have. We should not say not he. We should not say he got rid of. We should say having got rid of. Apahatya is a lyap pratyaya. So we should say translate it as having got rid of. Having got rid of this papam punyam, the whole baggage. What is that? How is that papam baggage say acquired by us? Avidya kama karma lakshanam samsara bijam. So this is that samsara bijam. This is the seed for the whole samsara. What is that? Avidya kama karma lakshanam, which is characterized by avidya, ignorance, and ignorance drives you to do some karma, and that karma gives you some phalam. Avidya, because of ignorance you have desire, kama, and then the desire drives you to do some action, and that action gives you some result, and that result is samsara. So the seed of samsara is that avidya. So that is vidhuya. Vidhuya means having shaken it off. This is also a lep pratyaya. That is vidhuya, having shaken it off. Suppose there is some dirt on your shirt, and then you just shake off your shirt, and then this dirt goes. So that is what is called vidhuya, having shaken it off. Anante apariyante, that is in the infinite. Apariyanta. Pariyanta means having some limit. Apariyanta means not having any limit. Limitless. Swarge loke. Okay, here Swarge loke, he has to qualify, he has to very clearly say that Sukhatmake Brahmani. In that bliss called Brahman, Sukha, that Brahma Sukha, or that bliss called Brahman, in that Brahman, then Anante iti Visheshanat,
Anante iti Visheshana,
na Trivishtape, Ananta Shabdaha,
Ananta Shabdaha,
Aupacharikopi Syat Ityataha,
Aupacharikopi Syat Ityata Aha,
Jye iti.
iti.
Okay. Ananta iti Visheshanat Trivishtape, na Trivishtape. So because of the use of the word Ananta, you should not take it as Trivishtapam. Trivishtapam means that where gods live. Trivishtapam is another word for, it is a synonym for Swarga. Swaravyayam, Suravya, then what is that word? Swaravyayam, Swargana, Kastridivastri, Dashalayaha, Suraloko, Dyodivo, Dve, Striyam, Klibe, Trivishtapam. So Trivishtapam is one of the synonyms for Swarga. This is what Amarakosha, I recited Amarakosha. So anyway, so this Ananta, this word Ananta is used to say or to clearly indicate to us that it is not that Trivishtapam where these gods and damsels stay. It is something different. It is something different. So that is what he says. Then you can also say, you can say Ananta Shabdaha Upacharikepi Syat Ityataha. So someone can object saying that okay, and this Ananta Shabda is used figuratively, not to reject Swarga, somebody can say. So Shankaracharya says there is another word also, Jya. Jya means that supreme thing. So because of the use of so many adjectives, we have to reject this idea that it is referring, this mantra is referring to Swarga, it is referring to this moksha only. That is, what is that moksha? Swatmani pratishtha. Jya, jyayasi sarvamahattare swatmani mukhye. Jya means jyayasi. This is in Saptami Vibhakti. Jya, in that supreme thing. Jya means in that supreme thing. Jyayasi sarvamahattare. Swatmani mukhye. In this own, in your own self. Swatmani. Mukhye atmani. Mukhya atma. What is that Mukhya atma? In your own self. Is that Brahman itself. Then pratitishthati. Gets established. Na punaha samsaram apadyate ityabhiprayah. He doesn't get back to this samsara. He doesn't get back to this wheel of samsara. So that is the opinion. So here ends iti chaturtha khandaha. So here ends this Kena Upanishad. I think the time is also over. We will have a brief summary in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.